Before I post my favorite books of 2025, here are 6 books that I also really liked this year. Okay, starting off with Seduction Theory, I will put the actual cover so I don't have to hold this up the entire time. I'll put the cover up here. Seduction Theory by Emily Adrian is a book for my cheating heads. It is about a lesbian grad student who falls in love with her female professor, obviously. And the professor is in this like very intense marriage with her husband, who is very tall, very good looking, very handsome. Everyone loves the two of them together. They're like couple goals. The book is interesting because it's structured as a graduate thesis for a creative writing program. So she is sort of submitting this book. It is written in paper form, but it is so good. I love it because you guys know I have a little bit of a mean streak. The book is very savage. It is very intensely focused on the marriage of these two people and the way that they like sort of terrorize everyone around them, right? Because they can only see each other, because they're so in love with each other, they sort of cause chaos in their lives because everyone around them is sort of drawn into their orbit. And I feel like obviously it's a little bit much for them to be like, oh, we're so hot and we're so successful and everyone loves us. But the book is very specific about the way that they are both deeply fucked up and flawed. On Goodreads, I said that this is a book that uses cheating as a sort of lever to take us into the lives of a love story. Like you guys know, I don't read a lot of love stories, but I was actually really surprised and impressed by this one because I thought it was going to be about the girl having an affair with her married professor, and instead it was actually about the two of them being in love and the way that she was so jealous, she was seething, and I thought the book was so much stronger for it. Hunchback by Sao Ichikawa, translated by Polly Barton. I really, really liked this book. This is very short. It's literally like 90 pages or something. It is about a woman who is disabled. She is in a wheelchair. She's also on a ventilator. She lives in a care home. So like there are people taking care of her around the clock. And on her iPad, she writes smut. So she is posting up a storm and she has this very rich inner life. Nobody thinks about her inner life because they're like ignoring her. This is a book that's deeply concerned with gender, power, money, and consent. I won't spoil too much. And it is, again, very short. It is so smart and so fucked up. The main character puts out a call for a sperm donor and things just sort of spiral from there. I, again, won't spoil, but like if you are interested in explorations of the way that men and women hurt each other, if you are interested in explorations of disability, if you're interested in exploration of disability in Japan specifically, where the author is from and where the book takes place, it was so fascinating and I was like very, very sucked into this world. I read it in like one train ride. Next up is The High Dive by my friend Chelsea Fagan. This is an enemies to lovers romance that takes place on a yacht, and I really like this book because it was very smart. Female main character is a socialist, and she's very, very politically involved and very smart, so a lot of the arguments that the characters have in this book are very well informed, talking about actual societal issues and the way that they affect real people, and I thought that was a really interesting angle to take. I also really like the scenes of them fighting. I Am Who I Am. Once the romance started, I was like, okay, but like I really, really liked the scenes of them going back and forth and like the banter. There's also a really cool friend group in this book and some explorations about what it means to be in a queer relationship, what it means to be controlled by your partner. There was a lot of really, really good stuff that I loved. Pure Innocent Fun by my mutual Ira Madison III. I listened to his podcast for like 6 years before he wrote this book, so I was already a huge fan before I found him on here. In my review for this book, I said that I was genuinely impressed and blown away because you guys know I love pop culture, but like no one loves pop culture the way Ira loves pop culture. He just knows so much. Every sentence is so imbued with the weight of so many things, like movie references, TV references, song references. I literally like need a syllabus after reading this because there was just so much that I wanted to dive into and explore and understand so that I could talk about culture the way he does. If you guys follow me, you know that I love sliding door stories, and this is a sliding door story about a woman giving birth to a son, and the name that she chooses for him sort of cements how the rest of his life is going to go. Is he going to be kind? Is he going to be gentle? Is he going to be a committer of DV like his father? Is he going to be aggressive? All of these different life paths are sort of like laid out before him, and the book takes us into 3 separate timelines where he has a different name in each one. That's why it's called The Names. There was really beautiful writing about nature in this. I think that Florence Knapp is obviously very, very invested in like the flora and fauna of England. I really, really loved it. If you had asked me at the beginning of the year, I would have said that this was going to be the book of the year and everyone was going to love it. And it didn't make as much noise as I expected, but like the people who read it really, really loved it. There's really beautiful writing here about love and loss and choices and like how the choices you make affect your life, as you would expect with like what the book is about. But I really, really appreciated the like inner workings of the main character across the 3 timelines, his relationships with his sister and his love interests. Finally, Show Don't Tell by Curtis Sittenfeld. Sittenfeld is one of my favorite authors of all time. I'm always talking about her. This is a book of short stories, growing up and loss and the way that life changes. I think that you can very much tell that Sittenfeld is reaching a different level of her career, reaching a different point in her life, right? Like one of the stories that's the best story in here is about divorce, like getting divorced after 20, 25 years. There's another story that I really loved in here about a group of girlfriends. There's a story that continues the story of Lee Fiora from Prep. If you know Prep, you love Prep. It was one of my favorite books ever. her. Every single time I read a Sittenfeld book, I'm just reminded of how good she is at this, right? Like her ability to examine and like critically exhume the human condition, just like see inside our souls and really flay our minds, not in the Stranger Things way, really flay our inner desires and like the weird fucked up quirks that make us human. She's absolutely perfect. Let me know if you guys have read any of these. I look forward to your reviews and stay tuned for my favorite books of the year tomorrow.